Presenting the gastrointestinal tract and shows the proximal part of it, which is the esophagus, and follow with the stomach, the small intestine, and large intestine. As we know, all component of the gastrointestinal canal has 4 layers, and that's consistent with some degree of modification. The inner layer would be the mucosa, which is a complex layer itself, has 3 layers. This is the endothelium, which in esophagus is a stratified squamous and lays on the layers of the connective tissue. We call it lamina propria, which of course this model simplified that. Usually we have glands in there, and also we have lymph node. And then we have a thin layer of the muscle part of the mucosa. We call it mucosa muscularis. So all 3, and it's consistent. With some exception, the endothelium changes. So here is the mucosa, from here in mucosa and mucosa. The second layer from inside out is submucosa, which is a connective tissue containing a lot of vessels and glands, as you can see that here, that opens up into the lumen and is consistent, but the thickness varies, as you can see that here. And the third layer is a muscular sternus. With the exception of the stomach, there are 2 layers, and that's consistent. One wraps around it, we call it circular inner, and one goes longitudinal, we call it longitudinal, is outside. And once again, pay attention to the thickness of the circular and longitudinal from section to section of the alimentary canal. And the most outer layer, exceptionally in esophagus, is adventitia, which is a connective tissue. Stomach, small and large intestine is serosa, which is made of the connective tissue and the simple cells, we call it mesothelium. Okay? Now, if you go back to the mucosa layers, the stratified squamous becomes simple columnar, simple columnar, simple columnar. And these are for absorption. This is more for protection. And of course, in the stomach can be differentiated. The cells, parietal cells, chief cell, enteroendocrine, mucosa nexa, all opens up into this area right here that appears in the lumen as a gastric pit, okay, which is a continuation of these chambers right here. In the small intestine has been modified significantly because most of the absorption and digestion, enzymatic digestion, happen in the small intestine. In order to make sure this food is going to be exposed to the cell, there is a protrusion, we call it villi, as you can see that, and a villi made of the same cells, but it's increasing the surface area. So, and finally, very small digestion happen here. This digestion happen by bacteria. Of course, the major part would be absorption of the water and electrolyte. And the cells here primarily has a lot of mucosa cells that releases mucus into the gastric crypt that opens up right up here. The crypt is, again, the space in between, the chambers in between the cells that opens up in the duodenum. Because water has been absorbed, the semi-liquid kind becomes semi-solid, therefore you need to have a lot of goblet cell to release this mucus for lubrication. And here you have it.